Hello and welcome to Geeks of the Round. I'm your host, Matt Moore, and I totally forgot my hat. There we go. And we are talking The Suicide Squad. We've all seen the movie, and so we figured we'd talk about it. Let's introduce the panel. First off, Charles. Charles, what did you think of The Suicide Squad? Don't give too much detail, because we'll get there later.
I thought it was okay.
You thought
It wasn't as good. It wasn't as good as I was hoping it to be, but it wasn't as bad as the critics are saying it is. If I had to give it a number rating, I would give it a 7.2 out of 10.
You know that I put in the chat 7.25 out of 10, right?
No, I didn't.
You're just riding my dick, Charles. You're just riding my dick.
No, I did not know that because I have not checked the chat all day.
All right. All right. How about you, Lou? What did you think of the movie?
I thought the movie was enjoyable. I mean, I don't care what critics say. Was the story a mess a little bit? Yeah, but it was still doable. And I understand why the story was a mess because of the way they edited this movie. I don't put that on the director. I put that on the I put that part on all the executives that run that sorry-ass fucking WB. They meddle too much with shit that they don't need to meddle with. I want to actually see David Ayer's real version.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice. Yeah. I'm gonna have to kind of go closer to Lou than Charles, even if my rating is closer to Charles. Because Lou, you said 8, right?
Yeah, I gave it an 8 out of 10. That's what I would have gave it because I mean, it did what I wanted it to do. It had some funny punchlines. The action was fun. And the story wasn't the best, but hey, it's a fucking comic book. What do you really expect?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's just it. Is I put it at a 7.25. I thought it was enjoyable. There was a lot of things lacking in it, and I mean a lot of things. However, you can either overanalyze a movie, or you can enjoy it, and this movie can easily be enjoyed.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I mean, first off, I think that Will Smith and Margot Robbie carried most of the movie, then followed by Jared Leto, then followed by Viola Davis. The guy who played Rick Flag just kind of pissed me off the entire time.
Yeah, he kind of pissed me off too, but the thing that really sucks is we have 10 more minutes of Joker footage left on the cutting room floor.
Yeah.
And to me, that was just a waste of that character. This character wasn't your typical Joker, but I liked it. He was more of a mobster Joker.
That's just it. I actually have a deep problem with Heath Ledger's Joker, and we won't get too much into it. Just that he didn't actually have the characteristics that the Joker generally has. Generally, the Joker has mob ties and has had mob ties in the past. And normally, he is insane, not a sociopath. He's a psychopath, not a sociopath, which he's a sociopath in the Batman movies. And
I don't know, because he was kind of a sociopath in The Killing Joke.
No. I mean, he was. That's just it. Everything in The Killing Joke was about the joke. Is literally the entire story retells the first time that joke that he tells at the end. Like, that joke he tells at the end is the movie. Like, basically, it's just a shortened version of the rest of the movie. Yeah. Joker knows of this opportunity that Batman would be willing to work with him, but he just can't trust him. He's just too insane. But in any case, yeah, the Joker has always been a psychopath. He's always taken pleasure in the killing. He's not doing the killing to... In any case, other than the look, obviously this Joker did not have our typical Joker look. However, when you see the smile on his face when he's in the back of that helicopter shooting at everybody, that was the Joker right there. Like, he was having fun. That was the Cesar Romero Joker. That was the Jack Nicholson Joker. That was all of those Jokers.
He didn't have fun in the club.
Joker was trying to prove a point, but he wasn't taking the pleasure in it that Joker normally does.
Yeah, but you also got to look at the tone of those movies there. Nolan wanted a darker tone, and he gave us a darker Joker.
I don't think it's a darker Joker. I think taking pleasure in killing is darker than, I just have to prove a point, so I'm going to kill this guy.
His tone in The Dark Knight was, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't the Joker that you normally... It was a mixture of a little bit of comedy or a little bit of laughs with him and a lot more seriousness. That's how he blended his Joker.
Yeah.
This Joker here, I enjoyed all the tattoos. I love the tattoo on his hand because every time he covered his mouth with it, that shit made me chuckle.
Yeah. And he did that not only to himself, but he also did it to Harley, and I thought he was going to do it to another guy earlier. But yeah, it's like he was making all these people smile.
That was one of the downsides I had. I mean, you cast Common, and he's literally in the movie for what, 3.5 fucking minutes because the Joker decides to shoot him. I mean, damn, at least let us see him use his power one time.
He has a power?
I think he can make his tattoos come to life and attack people.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But
he's an actual established character in the DC universe? I didn't know because they never mentioned his fucking name.
Yeah, I like the scene that Zack Snyder directed.
What scene was that?
The Flash scene with Boomerang.
Ah, yes. And that's just it. That particular scene was kind of a surprise. We didn't hear about it until... I mean, even the people paying attention didn't hear about it until, a week and a half ago?
So today, actually, in reality.
Okay. No,
because they heard of a scene. They heard of a Flash scene, but everybody thought it was going to be an end credits scene.
Ah, gotcha.
But instead, it was properly placed where it was. Because you see the Boomerang doing all his shit, and then the Flash shows up. But I found it very cool.
Something I want to point out is that, and this has been a kind of a point of contention, is the timeline between Suicide and Batman versus Superman. Suicide Squad happens first.
No, it didn't.
Well, sorry. The end of Suicide Squad happened before the end of Batman vs. Superman.
I don't think so.
The end credit scene, it has to.
It does not necessarily. Remember, Batman only knows of them because of what he saw on the computer. He doesn't know how to find them. So it makes sense that he went to Amanda Waller. Granted, this is a spoiler discussion. But he goes to Amanda Waller because she knows all their locations. Remember, he only sees them on the hard drive that he took from Lex. He goes to her because she already has them established as far as locations. She has everybody.
Remind me, was it? Did we see a Justice League trailer, or is that what happened where he ends up confronting Arthur Curry?
Yes, remember.
Okay.
We see that's not a trailer. That was just some scenes they put together that was already filmed for us. It was cut like a trailer, but it really wasn't a trailer.
Okay.
The way they broke it down.
I take it back then. I'm sorry, but for some reason I was remembering those scenes, and I'm all like, so what happened when? Okay.
No, that was the same thing my cousin said because we went to see it today. He's like, he's getting ready to leave. I'm like, hold on, there's a scene, and we watch. He's like, really? I sat for that? I'm like, dude, it's setting up the Justice League. That's all. Yeah. That was the purpose of it. To set up. Well, we saw that he knew about them. That's the key word. He knew of them. He didn't know how to find them. Yeah. He might have been able to find Barry, and we already know he knows where Diana is. But to find Aquaman, Arthur. God damn it, you got to go through the whole ocean.
Yeah, exactly. To find Arthur, exactly, you'd have to go through the whole ocean. And then there was Katana. Katana was in that book, too. She was the very first one.
Actually, no, it was Enchantress.
Oh, was that Enchantress?
Yeah.
Well, that's some bullshit.
Enchantress was the first page, and then you see Ezra Miller's the Flash, and then Aquaman, and then he closes the book, and he gets up and he's like, "You're under my protection now."
Which I don't get. Like, I understand that that Amanda Waller knows who he is. I mean, I get that. However, how is Bruce Wayne or Batman gonna protect Amanda Waller?
He's Batman.
That's not a viable
That
excuse.
that he can fucking
In his world, it is.
That doesn't mean he can sway the
no,
government. Believe me, Batman has tried to sway the government, and the government has said "fuck you" every single time.
But no, the thing that I don't understand is that why would Batman want to protect Amanda Waller? Because I thought because I think he and Amanda Waller always hated each other.
Generally,
Remember, this is the beginning of their relationship.
yeah.
He doesn't know that she manipulated the whole Suicide Squad. That I love Harley's response to her. Are you the devil?
Yeah.
She really is. She's a devil in disguise.
Waller admits it. Amanda Waller's like, I might be. Like,
And you know what? I was skeptical when they casted her in that role, but honestly, she's the shit.
And you know what? What convinced me was when the Suicide Squad are outside the room, Rick Flag walks in, Deadshot walks in, and Amanda Waller is all like, "All right, everyone pack up their stuff, wipe the hard drives, we gotta go." And then she breaks out a gun and fucking guns them all down. Like, motherfucker. All right, this is a badass bitch.
And then her excuse is, they weren't cleared for this.
Yeah.
And Flag is like, I get it. We all got our secrets.
Yeah, we've all had to clean up messes. And that's just it, is there are literally no good guys in this movie other than possibly, and I do say possibly, Batman. Other than that, there is literally not a single good guy in this fucking movie.
What about Rick Flag?
He's not a good guy. Rick Flag was just a straight-up asshole.
Yeah, he was. Okay, the Flash, but sorry, no one in this movie longer than 40 seconds who was a good guy.
Look, Batman scenes, the two that he was in, perfect. Yeah. Made perfect sense. Loved it.
Even even Deadshot's daughter, like she's all like, okay, so to figure out the hypotenuse of this angle, if I was on a rooftop and I was shooting someone this far, the hypotenuse is the distance that the bullet actually travels. And it's like, bitch, are you going to be like Deadshot too? Like, you are on your way.
It wasn't that she was
replacing your father.
She was relating to her father, so she put it in terms that her father would understand.
I don't think that's
how I got that
because then he continued on with that particular thinking.
Because she already seen.
You gotta take these things into account as well.
He knows that she already seen him fight Batman and almost shoot Batman. She stood in his way, so she knows that he will use a gun at any given moment. So, how do you relate to how does a child relate to their father? They look for something that the father likes to try to relate the equation. The father likes to shoot, kill people. Numbers are distances in her eyes. So she equated it to him that way.
Speaking of psychopaths, because I think that if that's what in your mind is how you're going to identify with your father, you're not going to come out as a good kid. But
maybe not. But
we end up getting the entire backstory for Harley Quinn. We see pretty much everything. We see like her being broken. We see her being tortured to be broken even more. We see her come back where she's Harley, where she's like white-faced Harley. I mean, we see all of that. But what we know is that she is a shrink who becomes a psychopath, which is really weird because you don't see any part of a shrink in her personality whatsoever, except in one sentence she says. She's talking to Deadshot about, have you ever loved anyone? And at the end of that conversation, she's all like, oh yeah, just your typical average sociopath. Like, it's like, holy shit, she's a doctor again all of a sudden. Like, where is that Harley Quinn? We never see that Harley Quinn.
In that scene, I was actually starting to think that she was starting to break out of the Joker conditioning, that she was going to go back to being Harleen Quinzel. Just for a brief moment during that scene, that's what I thought was happening.
I don't think she can.
Oh no! I mean, dude, at the beginning when you see her in her transformation, you've seen her in her animation costume, the jester thing.
Yeah.
I love the homage that they did with her as far as costume in the earlier part. And then when she's looking for clothes to wear when they're about to go on the mission, and she's looking at it like, hold it to her chest, oh, the memories, and then she puts it back down.
That's just it, is we already knew from the previews that she was going to be using a bat. As a matter of fact, like, they are literally auctioning off Harley Quinn bats. So we knew that's what she was going to use for most of the movie. However, when she pulled out that fucking hammer, I'm all like, somehow, get the fucking hammer.
Yeah, but you do realize that bat that was used in the movie was given to Kevin Smith.
I thought it was given to Kevin Smith's daughter.
It was given to Kevin Smith by Jeff Johns, and then Kevin Smith gave it to his daughter as a gift.
Because his daughter's name is Harley.
Harley Quinn Smith.
Yeah. Yeah, and here's the funny thing. My mother actually just recently told me that she told me that Kevin Smith's daughter was acting in Suicide Squad, and I'm like, what? Just yeah, because I mean, she was like, yeah, Harley Quinn. I was like, dude, that was not Kevin Smith's daughter. The woman that played Harley Quinn in Suicide Squad is Margot Robbie, but Harley Quinn, as in Kevin Smith's daughter, is Harley Quinn Smith, who's like younger than 18 years old, while Margot Robbie is I think 26.
Yeah, and Margot Robbie, it's not illegal to see naked. I know, because I've seen The Wolf of Wall Street.
I have no desire to see that movie. I don't care if there's a nude scene with Margot Robbie. I have no interest.
See that movie.
Why?
Not because of that.
It's a good movie.
But because of the fact that the movie is fucking awesome.
I don't like stuff that I don't like the subject matter they talk about in that movie with the whole Wall Street and economics and all that. I won't understand half that shit.
You don't have to, trust me. But at some point, you should watch the movie. In any case, back to Suicide Squad. Let me see. We've covered Deadshot. Did we want to cover any more on Deadshot? Because I mean, I think we covered that. We covered Harley. We covered Amanda Waller and Joker.
Here's a quick covering of Slipknot. Gets manipulated by Boomerang. Head explodes. Boom, bitch, you're dead.
Okay.
Well,
can we talk about Diablo?
Diablo was cool.
I want to talk about him because I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. I said this in the chat, so you guys probably did see this. I think El Diablo was probably one of the best parts of this movie.
He really wasn't.
I think that he was one of the best parts in the second half of the movie. In the first half of the movie, he was fucking boring as shit.
He was a whiny bitch.
Yeah.
Which I get why he was whiny. You know, he didn't want to use his powers no more. I get all that. But I liked it when he went full Diablo on Goliath. That was cool.
Yeah. And that's just it. Is there, in my opinion, there's absolutely no way that he didn't get his powers from a demon. I mean, it just seems obvious to me that that's how he got his powers.
Well, the way he explained it, he was born with them.
That's how, like, when he destroyed the entire fucking jail cell area or whatever it was, the jail, a fucking fiery crown was going above his head. There's no way that's not demonic. That's either a demon or the devil himself.
Well, remember, he says he was born with those powers. And as he got older, they got stronger. And then when he became, the teenager adult is when he really started wrecking shit.
Yeah, and then as he got more powerful outside of those powers, the powers ended up following as well.
Oh, no, he was great.
As he became more and more and more of a man, the powers became more and more powerful.
Mm-hmm. And then when he transformed, boy, that was cool.
Yeah, that was cool because Goliath was not tiny and Diablo was bigger. So that was pretty cool. He was much skinnier, but he was bigger. And that's just it. Is that we were talking about things that were taken out of the plot that didn't seem to really jive all that well, and that fight was one of them. Like, Diablo was winning that fight. He was absolutely winning that fight, and then all of a sudden he just runs out of fire.
Yeah, I don't think he ran out of fire.
We don't fucking know.
I don't think he ran out of fire. I think since Goliath used magic, he figured out a counter to stop him.
But we don't fucking know because they
but
don't.
Then the bomb goes off.
They just
and
left
he's
it
no longer
there.
seen.
They just fucking left it there. And they didn't explain it, and there's no way for us to know like exactly what happened there. For 7/8 of the movie, and we get introduced to this thing about halfway through the movie, maybe even before that, we have no idea what that fucking thing she's making is. It's a weapon. Oh no, is it a teleporter that's going to push the Earth through? Is it a time machine that's going to take us all? We don't know what kind of fucking weapon it is, and they didn't explain it until they started blowing shit up.
That could be in another version, for all we know.
And that's just it. Is I don't know. They were just very lax on explaining. Like they put these questions out there, and then they wouldn't fucking explain it. And another one, they introduced Captain Boomerang. They didn't show him like actually being brought to Belle Reve. Like all of a sudden he's not at Belle Reve. All of a sudden he is at Belle Reve. It's like, what the fuck? Where the fuck did he come from?
Well, I believe at
same
first.
with Fuckface, the one that died first. Like,
Slipknot?
Yeah.
They could have been at other facilities, and when they were going on the mission is when they were transported there. That's what happened with
bullshit
Boomerang.
Because they could have explained that better.
Should have, could have, would have, what they didn't.
Yeah. And when Captain Boomerang was talking to Slipknot about like breaking out of the place, who here knew that Captain Boomerang was playing the die? Because I did.
I kind of figured he was, and I think he wanted to make sure the shit worked.
And that's just it. Is what made it obvious to me was the fact that Slipknot wasn't in any of the promotional material. I'm all like, yeah, that motherfucker's dying first.
Yeah, and the thing is that I was a little upset. I mean, I figured that he was going to be the guy that was going to prove that explosive device in their neck works, that's clearly how it played out. However, I was hoping on some level that Slipknot would live, just because Slipknot is primarily a Firestorm villain. So, with Slipknot still being in the DC Extended Universe, that could also leave an opening for Firestorm to show up at some point.
Yeah.
But now that
he can still show up, but I doubt it. Firestorm is kind of a
B character, if that.
He's not quite C, but yeah, I'd put him in the mid to low B character.
Oh, come on, Firestorm's not that bad.
He's pretty bad.
It's not that he's bad, but he's just look at it from this perspective. The Justice League are the A characters. Suicide Squad are the A-.
Oh, really? Justice League is the A characters? Then where the fuck is Martian Manhunter?
Well, they have a decision. Who knows? He could be the 7th member of the team, pop up in that movie. He could. My theory is he's the Secretary of Defense.
Yeah, he really could show up, and that's just it. Is they've been doing the Justice League more based on the New 52 than anything, at least thus far. And unfortunately, Martian Manhunter was not that's the only time he wasn't a founding member of the JLA. But he was not a founding member of the JLA in the New 52. Every other time, he has never not been part of the Justice League until the New 52. And believe me, that pissed me off because as far as I saw it, it was like taking Undertaker's record away for WrestleManias. Like, you just don't do it. Bullshit. You just don't fucking do it.
Yeah, have him lose to Brock Lesnar, really?
Yeah. Like, you don't take someone's legacy away, and they did that. Because they wanted to shake things up. And it's like, you know what? Like, have him go in there, but then actually be a white Martian in disguise or some shit. Like you can shake things up without taking the dude's legacy away.
But, I mean, Amanda was the villain in disguise. And everybody complained that Enchantress wasn't the villain, but she really was the villain.
She kind of was. Oh, and
Her brother, and Amanda Waller were the three villains of the movie.
Yeah.
I never actually thought of Amanda Waller as the villain of this movie. I just thought that she was the person that held all the cards.
She's almost always the villain in everything. Like, there is one time in which she wasn't the villain that I can think of, and that was in Batman Beyond? No, Batman Justice League Unlimited, where they were flashing forward to the future, and Amanda Waller was admitting her sins to Terry McGinnis. That is the only time I've seen her not be an evil bitch.
I mean, she's always portrayed as a villain in a way. She orchestrates the shit, but then she covers her tracks so well that you'll never notice her as the villain.
Yeah, but in this situation, yeah, sure, she was a bitch. Yeah, she had a device that held the detonators for all the explosive devices in their necks. But when it came right down to it, I just thought of her as somebody who was a government official that got things done. I mean, that's just what I thought of her.
She killed like 8 of her own people because she didn't properly vet them.
Well, that's just on her.
But that's what the dude.
That's still fucking evil. That's
Those are the kind of government officials that are actually out there.
No.
Yes.
No.
Government officials are evil, bro.
Oh, we are not going to go down that rabbit hole. Let's move on.
Well, here's another interesting Easter egg. Remember when that one dipshit was talking about Superman tearing a roof in the White House and coming down and all that shit?
All right. Before you continue, I got to ask, where do we all know him from?
I don't give a fuck.
Stranger Things, dude. He was in Stranger Things.
Good for him. I haven't seen that shit.
He was the sheriff in Stranger Things.
Good fucking for him. He was also talking about Superman, too.
Okay. But, at least that's just it. Is in the commercials, they had portrayed it as what if Superman did this, but at least in the movie they kind of use that as an example, and they explained later on, you know what, Superman is on our side. At least he held our ideals. But what if the next Superman does not? And that is actually pretty awesome, especially since we've seen literally 3 people who have exactly Superman's powers who didn't hold their ideals, and that was the first Superman movie.
Oh, when Zod came down.
Yeah, when they came down. Oh, sorry, no, that wasn't 3. There was like 5. There was like 5 or 7 or somewhere in there.
There was a whole bunch of them.
Fight them all.
There was a whole bunch of those Kryptonians.
Yeah.
There were hundreds of them, but most of them were still on the ship.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so, I mean, she does make a good point there because that shit could happen. However, something she says in this, and I'm stealing this particular idea from Half Toasted. I don't know. They do a review, and Izzy ended up posting it. And the idea is that everything changed when Superman arrived, and then everything changed again when he died. And it's like, no. It didn't. Enchantress existed long before Superman did. Thousands of years, if not tens of thousands of years before Superman did.
Dude, that
Flash
one
would have still gotten his
transformation.
powers. Fucking Cyborg would still get his powers. Aquaman's been Aquaman for decades longer than Superman's been on.
Yeah, but these people were all hidden.
Superman's presence is what brought them out of the shadows.
For the most part.
Yeah.
But when Enchantress transformed in the little defense bunker, I have to admit, that was some good work.
Oh, you're talking the hand that ended up like, reaching in and like
that was some
over?
good-ass work.
That was a pretty cool scene.
I was like, wow, that actually looked good.
All right, but now we're on the subject of Enchantress. I have to ask, who else here thought it was super weird when she was doing that little arm and body movement thing, going just like this? It was just it was
supposed
weird.
to be weird. That was the point.
Dude, I mean, bro, I have to ask you this, Whedon.
What?
Do you not like a woman to dance for you?
It was attractive, but it was very, very appealing to see something like that. But it also felt out of place.
It didn't feel out of
not
place.
Not for her character. Not
It
for her.
felt. I don't know a lot about I don't know shit about Enchantress, but I found everything she.
This was absolutely not Enchantress.
Oh no, I heard she could get worse.
No, that's just it. Is at least the Enchantress I remember is fucking like friends with is the female version of Loki, except more of a bitch.
Are we talking about DC Enchantress or Marvel Enchantress?
DC.
Okay.
Oh wait, you might be right. I might be getting characters mixed up.
Yeah, because there is a Marvel version of Enchantress who is always connected to Loki in some way due to similarities between the two of them.
I think you might be right.
And she is obsessed with Thor. Oh, okay. Do you remember in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. where Lorelei showed up?
Yeah. Now I'm remembering it. I am getting the characters mixed up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Lorelei is Enchantress's sister.
Not on all cylinders.
Yeah.
No, this Enchantress is batshit crazy.
Yeah.
And does anybody here think Enchantress is dead?
No.
No.
Well, yes.
Well, her heart was crushed.
Well,
I think she's dead, but it's possible that she might be resurrected.
I think that too. I don't think she's gone fully.
Because
I think there'll be another way to get her out.
There by the name of Eclipso, who was really famous in the 90s, who is a pretty big fan of Enchantress. And the guy is super fucking powerful. Like, it was its own, like... He was literally a villain that went across a bunch of different comic book storylines. Like, that's how fucking powerful he was. Like, they don't do things like that for anyone other than, like, Thanos and maybe Doomsday. Obviously in different comics. Mm-hmm. But, oh wait, no, Apocalypse. They've also done it for Apocalypse. But yeah, for the most part, they don't do that sort of shit for many villains. And all of those villains I can count on one hand. Eclipso happens to be one of them because he's just that fucking powerful.
Is it Calypso or Eclipso?
Eclipso. Eclipso.
Eclipso. Okay. Okay.
What'd you guys think of Killer Croc?
I liked him. I thought he was cool. He didn't have enough lines, in my opinion. He didn't talk much. He mostly just stand around doing that thing. Yeah.
Dude, the one line I found hilarious as shit was when Harley Quinn goes, when she's saying everybody's, lovely inside and outside and all that shit, and she goes to Killer Croc, well, except for you, because you're ugly on the outside, too. And then he pulls down his hoodie and goes, I think I'm beautiful.
I'm like, good for you.
And another thing that was kind of lacking is, one, we didn't see what happened to that fucking guard who gave Harley the phone. I was hoping to see a follow-up to that.
Honestly, I don't need a follow-up to that dipshit.
What's that?
I don't need a follow-up to that dipshit. I'm hoping Deadshot found a way to kill his ass.
Yeah, basically, that's what I was hoping for, is just like, oops, you tripped and fell and ran into my bullet. You ran into my bullets 8 times. I was also hoping that scene where he's all like, I'm fucking beautiful, he's actually like, no, I may be ugly on the outside, but I sponsored a fucking Girl Scout troop. Like, I sent them to camp or some shit like that shows that he actually is beautiful on the inside. He's just treated like a monster. I think that would have been kind of cool.
Well, I heard.
In the comics, from what I remember, Killer Croc is actually not entirely a villain. He does have a code of honor. He is primarily villainous when it comes to like Batman and all that, but on his own, he's actually not that bad of a guy.
That's just it. Is in this movie, we end up seeing everyone's fondest wish, and Deadshot's fondest wish was to kill Batman.
So I'm like, yeah,
out of all of these characters, he's the best good guy. He is the least evil of the bad guys, with possible exception to to Diablo. But even compared to Diablo, he's probably the least evil of these bad guys, and his fondest wish is to kill the bat.
Well, I would have had that same wish if that motherfucker put me in jail in front of my daughter.
Yeah.
I will say this.
I get his wish.
I will say the weirdest wish was actually Harley Quinn's wish, where they're in a nice house with a picket fence and a couple of kids, and Jared. And well, I'm not even going to say Joker. Jared Leto is just standing there with the slick back hair and a business suit, poking the nose of their youngest son, and I'm like, what?
I thought that was a girl.
Did you get that joke, by the way? There was a joke in that scene.
Was there?
The joke.
No, I did not.
Earlier at the bar, Harley Quinn says, we're not normal people. Normal people sit on the dryer. She is specifically talking about masturbation. She is specifically talking about women sitting on dryers as a way of masturbating. Later on, the first thing she does in that flashback is turn on the dryer.
Really? I missed that.
That was a joke. That was literally a joke.
I didn't catch that. I'll wait till it comes out on DVD. But I honestly want to see David Ayer's version of Killer Croc, because I heard Killer Croc was more vicious in some of his pre-scenes where you saw him, when he killed, you saw the blood and all that other shit.
Yeah.
I heard it was more violent. I want to see that. And I love the fact when it kind of sucked that they all went back to jail. But granted, they kind of had no choice because Amanda Waller still had her fucking Samsung phone with their heads getting ready to be blown off. But
I really got to call bullshit on that. I mean, okay, let's stretch the imagination and say, you know what, they decided not to fucking kill her because they needed the secrets in her head. They didn't have a way of extracting the secrets and then killing her and then keeping those secrets. Let's just say that they didn't have that ability, so they had to keep her alive. She was hung upside down in a fucking, I don't know what the fuck it was, like black sludge tree made by Goliath?
No, made by Enchantress.
Okay, whatever. It was just like this weird fucking, the same things that these zombies were made out of. I don't have a better name for them. Like,
those things were just fucking, let's just call them,
I don't know what the fuck they were.
let's just call them the black pimple face gods.
And that's just it, is there's just no fucking way that she would have been able to find her cell phone after that. I mean, maybe after they cleared the fucking building, but, I mean, literally, they blew up the fucking building. Or they blew up that floor of the building.
Well, like, not the whole floor.
Of her still having her cell phone are fucking non-existent.
Well, maybe it fell out of her pocket, down on the floor beneath her, and it didn't go anywhere. Remember, they only blew up a portion of the floor. And that's where I'm curious to know. Did El Diablo get blown up with it, or did he fall into the hole and he's in the water passed out?
Well, that's just it, is they blew up the fucking, the only part of the floor, but then they blew up a fucking, like, right in the middle of the fucking room. Remember, there was the second explosion as well.
Yeah, that blew up that little hole where Enchantress ended up lying.
Yeah, and guess what was right near the Enchantress? Oh, that's right, fucking Amanda Waller.
Yeah, but she could have been 20 feet to the left or 20 feet to the right. She wouldn't have been infected. That could have actually freed her from that fucking sludge tree.
Whatever. I did enjoy the movie. I just see...
Dude, the major problem...
the things that the critics are seeing. I do see what their complaints are. I just don't think that it's enough to give it a thumbs down versus a thumbs up. I think it's still a thumbs up. Yeah.
The main issue was, like you said, what the fuck was that weapon she created? Yeah, I get it. I mean, it was like a weapon of trash.
And how does a weapon of trash turn into a fucking lightning laser?
Well, that's probably her special power.
Well, this is how she did it. This is how she did it. Magic.
Oh.
It was magic. You don't have to explain magic that much.
No, you don't. I also don't have to explain why I kicked Charles out of the Hangout. All right.
Well, you kicked him out because of the little stupid. It's
yeah,
magic.
basically.
Like some burnt Wonderstone shit.
So, do we have anything else to talk about in this show, in this movie?
No, I look forward to seeing part 2.
I think it is pretty obvious we're getting a sequel to Suicide Squad.
Yeah, we have to, and that's just it. Is they're gonna have to raise the fucking stakes next time. I mean, obviously the stakes were pretty high this time, but let's think about it. It's like you have a choice. You can have 10 years taken off your sentence. Okay, like infinity times 3 minus 10 doesn't fucking matter. It's still fucking infinity.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, that's how the math works. And
I always thought that whole thing about Task Force X.
It's still fucking infinity.
I always thought that whole thing about like whenever you like complete your mission successfully, you still go back to prison, but you get time taken off your sentence. Yeah, that doesn't fucking matter when you are serving multiple life sentences.
Exactly, and life sentences are as long as you live. So for you,
not necessarily.
For you, it
a
is.
Life sentence is
parole is allowed.
There's no parole, but you know what? You could actually still live. Because remember, you could serve your 25-year sentence, which is life. It's whatever comes first, the 25 years or your life. That's what a life sentence is. So if you get a double life sentence, that means you got to serve 50 years. Chances are you ain't getting out. But if you're serving 25 and you're young, say you're 20, you get out at 45 as long as you somewhat stay good and don't kill no one else in jail or fuck up.
I don't know.
The chances of that asshole who gets out when he's 45, he'll probably be back in within 3 years.
Assuming you are correct that 25 years you can get out as well instead of life. Assuming that is correct, I see your point, but they'd still have to do a lot of fucking missions. I mean, Captain Boomerang probably.
These fucking guys would have to do missions for the rest of their life just to probably knock off 100 years.
It's like Captain Boomerang's got 3 life sentences. Let's pretend that's 75 fucking years. Dude is already 35 years old, so that's 110, 120 years?
Yeah, he ain't getting out no time.
Yeah, now he's getting out when he's 110 instead of 120. Like if he does 8 more missions, he can get out in 5 years.
If they're lucky.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those scenarios.
8 more missions, and that shit ain't gonna happen.
It's one of those scenarios where what comes first? My shit being expired or Amanda Waller blowing my head off?
Exactly.
In this particular sense, it makes more sense that they go back to jail so they can keep doing underground missions.
Yeah.
And keep them as the bad guys trying to do good shit. The thing that sucks is we'll probably, I mean, it's depending what timeline they do with Batman. If we see half those villains before the Suicide Squad takes place, like they say it might, it's going to be one of those scenarios.
All right, I have a question though. As I'm thinking about this, I just thought of something else. The Suicide Squad, a large portion of the movie was Rick Flag not trusting these motherfuckers.
Uh-huh.
Rick Flag trusts these motherfuckers now. Like he has, because they saved his life how many fucking times?
In this particular movie, twice they captured the flag.
Captured the flag?
Oh,
that was the running joke.
God.
We gotta capture the flag.
But yeah, I mean, seriously, and that was another freaking mistake. Is like, oh yeah, my girlfriend is the Enchantress. Why is him not telling the Suicide Squad this information at the beginning? Why is that such a big fucking deal? Why do they feel so betrayed by this?
Because
it literally does not change anything. Literally, because it has nothing to do with their fucking mission. At least not at the time.
I'm not helping you get your girl back. I'm risking my life so you can get your woman back. Fuck that shit. I'm going to have this drink. Well, it saved New York.
It saved the world. She was fucking destroying shit far beyond New York.
Well, that is true towards the end, but at the moment, it was, well, what do they call it? Main City?
Midway.
Midlands?
Oh, Midway. I mean,
no, Midway City.
Yes, and speaking of that, I actually had to look it up because, you know, each of these popular DC cities always have a hero looking after it. I had to look up which hero looks after Midway City. Turns out it's Hawkman.
Okay.
Hawkman protects Midway City. Well, it's actually him and Hawk Girl, and then when she dies, it's just him.
Okay.
Maybe they'll introduce him in a future movie.
I don't know.
Where the fuck was he in this movie? That's the problem.
But none of the heroes needed to be in this movie.
Yeah.
I didn't need Batman in this movie more than what he was.
No, yeah. I needed Batman in this movie, and there's a reason. It's because of the fact that while they did not specifically talk about it, they kind of sort of showed exactly, at least a couple of the villains' attitude towards Batman. That Batman is this scary thing. That people are fucking scared of Batman, except for Joker and Harley. Joker and Harley think that it's a grand old time, that it's time to play. All right, Betsy's here. Let's go.
Yeah, but that's because that's their fucked up logic to begin with.
Yeah, that basically you kind of they didn't do it as much as I was led to believe going into the movie, because I was told about this previous. But you were supposed to see the general attitude that the villains have towards Batman, about how Batman is this dark and fucking scary monster who is beating the crap out of them every chance he gets.
True, but question here.
They at least how I had understood it beforehand, they were going to portray that a little bit more, but they barely fucking touched on it. However, they did show Joker's attitude towards him, which was...
That could be the edited version that we got that they changed up. Remember, David Ayers wrote this script in 6 weeks. He had to get the script done in 6 weeks. Then he did his movie, and I heard that when they did test screenings in North Carolina, they showed 2 versions. They showed the David Ayers version, and they showed another version that was pieced together by the trailer company that pieced the trailers together.
Yeah.
And the consensus was they liked David Ayers' version, but they also liked the trailer version. So they ended both of them together, and that's why we got what we got.
Okay.
And then everybody was bitching about the music. I actually found the music enjoyable.
There was a lot of good music in it. There was one scene where the music did seem out of place, and it was literally in the background. It was like, I don't know, it was like classical something, and it wasn't the main music. I just thought, you know, you're listening to classical music, and I think they were showing the Joker at the time, and I'm all like, yeah, this doesn't match. This does not work.
Dude, and that one scene where the Joker's laying like in the center of all his knives and guns and all that, that motherfucker had like 12 laptops.
I didn't see the laptops. I did see the probably 100 knives and probably 100 guns and then a couple.
Okay. When the guy walked in, tell the Joker about it, you see, like, I'm exaggerating, but there was a shitload of laptops on the top part of the knives gun wall that he created.
Oh, okay.
I guess they were all looking for Harley Quinn.
That particular scene, as they were backing up from him, I spent that entire scene going, I recognize that knife, I recognize that knife, I recognize that gun. Like, that's all I was doing, is I was trying to in my mind, pick out as many weapons as I possibly could in there. And that's when I saw the outside ring. The outside ring of everything was roses.
Dude, that must have been a serial killer's dream. Like,
yeah.
Oh my God, look at all these toys I have to kill people with.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Anything else we want to cover?
That's about it.
That the Joker could disable the neck bomb I'm even more disappointed that the
It
neck
wasn't the Joker.
stopped being disabled.
It wasn't the Joker who did it.
It was one of the Joker's henchmen. That
No, it wasn't. It was the doctor. He had the doctor in the helicopter.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'll take that. But it still disappoints me that the thing rearmed later.
It didn't rearm.
Yes, it did.
No, it didn't.
I know it did because of the fact that when Amanda Waller threatened everyone at the end, only one was blacked out.
Then I would have to say that's probably an editorial problem where they fucked up on.
Okay.
Because when they were going to, no way you disarm it, then it could rearm itself. It would need some, unless Amanda Waller also had the power to rearm. Then they would have to kind of explain that she rearmed that fucking thing afterwards, because she made it seem like she couldn't rearm it when she contracted Deadshot to shoot her.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'd say that's more of an editing fault.
Maybe. And it is too fucking hot in here for me to wear that hat. Do we have anything else?
No, you can wrap up.
Nope, I got nothing.
All right, perfect. So overall, between the three of us, we're giving it a score of right around 7.6 combined total.
It gets a go. Go enjoy the movie. You'll have fun with it, despite the little bit of flaws that it has.
My thought on it is because I remember the old Spill.com ratings. I see it as a matinee. Don't spend $13 on it, but if you spend $6 or $7, that should be good for you. But definitely see it in theaters.
Yeah, it's worth the visit in the theater.
It is. It really is. I ended up seeing it in 3D, which didn't add a whole lot to it. But it was still pretty
That was a waste of money.
I didn't spend money on it. T-Mobile paid for the ticket.
Oh, so you got your T-Mobile thing?
Yep.
Too? I don't have T-Mobile, but one of my friends hooked me up with the code.
Perfect. All right, so just wrapping up, make sure to check us out at geeksoftheround.com. Check out our forums at forums.geeksoftheround.com. Give us a call at, I forgot the number. Hey, I've got a right here.
Blah, blah, blah.
801-609 GOTR. That's 801-609-6897. We've got business cards. I want to thank everyone for watching. Oh, of course, youtube.com/geeksoftheround, and we are starting a new channel. And hey, Lou, tell us about the channel.
It will be a channel that's going to discuss the shows that Geeks of the Round don't want to do anymore.
It's going to be more of a contributor channel, so that way we can actually expand the shows. And yeah, basically they're going to probably be taking over the DC shows. And hopefully they will get some more people on here. We'll see. I want to thank everyone for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.